Our Tuesday Topics series this winter, as you know, focuses on some of the many services and resources that the library provides to our community. And today we are focusing on advances and trends in technology and media. Our presenter is Joe Bourne, Division Supervisor for Central Library's Reynolds Media Center. Please join me in welcoming Joe to the podium.
Well, good afternoon. Of course, I have a slide presentation that I'm using, so that's one of the first tech things we have. Thank you very much for coming out today. I know that this weather can really be challenging, but we are Rochesterians after all, so not too much out of the unexpected. I did want to start by letting you know that I am a lot more comfortable being on that side of the microphone. As I was saying to somebody earlier, usually the only thing I say on this side of the microphone is check, 1, 2, check. I'm going to start by mentioning some of the technology that's at work right now that Susan mentioned in her opening remarks. Isn't it great that we can live stream these things for people who can't make it out in such weather like this? Not too long ago, you would have had to have a news crew with a great big satellite truck to be able to do all of the live streaming of things. And we have a videotape, actually a 4K digital recording of this going on also. Hi, Andrew. So that they can put it out on YouTube afterwards. And when we put it on YouTube, it automatically uploads captioning for people. So what a wonderful world we live in right now. I do want to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I started here in 1986, December of 1986. And I was originally hired to take care of the 16mm film collection, which at the time was the largest film collection this side of the Rockies in any public library. We supplied all of the area schools, the districts, and the colleges with hundreds of films for their education every week. We also had some VHS tapes and beta tapes, but it was a real small collection at that time. And we had a computer center, that Apple IIe there. We had 2 of those units, and that was, actually I had to be shown by my 2nd grade son at the time how to use the mouse on an Apple IIe, because for some reason DOS didn't work right in the Apples. And I should tell you though, not to quote me when it comes to some of the tech trends, because shortly after I started here, Democrat and Chronicle did an article on the longevity of beta tapes. So they came and interviewed me and asked me, how I thought beta tape was going to last, and I said, I don't think it's going to be around much longer. VHS is so much more popular. And they even titled the name of their article, say, Bye-Bye to Beta. In actuality, beta tapes were around for about 5 years later, so don't quote me on those things. In July of 2013, I became the manager for the Reynolds Media Center. So because of that, I'm going to start talking about the Reynolds Media Center, which we opened in November of 2013. It was opened in response to patron input that was telling us that they would like to have all of the media in one area. So we moved all of the DVDs, the music CDs, the books on CDs, all into the Reynolds Media Center. And we also kicked off a Overdrive catalog from there, which is an area for you to go, search everything that's available through our Overdrive streaming service. And then you can send a QR code or a link to your smartphone or email, and then you'd be able to download whatever item you found on the catalog at your convenience. So this turned out to be popular and is still in there and functioning very well. Now we may have eliminated the 16mm films and the VHS and beta, but we do continue to circulate some equipment for patrons to view the older formats on. We have 16mm and 8mm projectors, slide projectors, things of that nature, because we do have a lot of patrons that call up and say things like, I just unearthed this film in Grandpa's attic or Dad's basement, and we don't have anything to view it on. And they want to make sure that it's something worthwhile before they pay to have it transferred to the digital media. So we make that available. We've added a couple newer pieces to that as well. We have video projectors, which people will use to hook their laptop or computer up to so they can show a PowerPoint presentation, or perhaps they're going to use it to show a photo montage when somebody's graduating or getting married. So people call and borrow these, and we make them available for a small rental fee. The other unit there is a VHS to DVD converter. So if somebody knows already what's on their VHS tape and they just want to transfer it to DVD, they can borrow this unit and take it home and do it themselves if they're gung-ho about trying it themselves. When we opened the Reynolds Media Center, we made everything self-contained so that people would be able to take out and return the items all at the same spot, which of course greatly reduced the time between when an item was returned and when it got back onto the shelf. Many times those items are back on the shelf now before the patron who returned them has picked something else out and left. And we're able to do that through the technology of RFID and our self-check units. The self-check units have unlockers. This picture does not show the unlocker, but it has an unlocker right on it. So once an item is checked out, it can be unlocked, and then you can enjoy and get access to the disc. But because of the RFID technology, each item is individually marked. So if you did not check out an item, it won't unlock it. And if you did not check out an item and you try to leave our department, a little nice bell goes off to let you know, oops, you may have forgotten to check something out. And we get a nice little sign on our computer screen that says the title of what was not checked out. So we can help the patron know exactly which one they may have missed accidentally, I'm sure. Since we opened the division, we have also added some new technology to the Reynolds Media Center. We started out by adding Hoopla, which is an online service similar to Overdrive, but the big difference is you download the items to your device instead of stream it. So you can download an ebook, an audio book, a video, music, even comics from Hoopla to your device so that you can then access it to watch it or listen to it when you are away from Wi-Fi. It does not have to have Wi-Fi available to view the items. Currently, we can borrow 7 items per month through the Hoopla system. And the city of Rochester right now is the only place that has them, with the exception of 2 towns, which is Pittsford and Gates. I've heard rumors that others may be coming on board, but as of right now, those are the only places that you can access Hoopla. So you have to be a member of either the city of Rochester, be a resident of the city of Rochester, or a member of those other 2 town libraries to gain access to Hoopla. We have started circulating Playaway, which are an MP3 player. Each one basically has 1 book that's on it that you really only have to insert a headphone into the unit, turn it on and hit play, and you're listening to the book. Right now we have all YA books right now because most teams don't carry CD players anymore. But I think you'll see that about every one of them will have either earbuds or a headphone nearby. So if they want to access the audiobook, they'll have the headphones to plug into the MP3 player. We also added a collection of 4K Blu-ray discs, which are the new ultra high definition format. Unfortunately, don't let the name fool you, even though it's 4K Blu-ray disc, you cannot play it on a regular Blu-ray player. You do have to get a 4K Blu-ray player, and ideally, to enjoy the ultra high definition video, you'd probably need a 4K television too. But the good news is, if you buy the 4K player, it is retroactive that you can play regular Blu-ray discs or regular DVDs on it. So The investment doesn't mean you're going to have to start stacking up all of these different players in your living room. Most recently, and very excited about this, we became the first library in New York State to start circulating the GoChip movie, TV, and hotspots. This was done by a grant that we received from the Reynolds Board. These are really neat items because they're kind of like an MP3 player, but you don't hook up to it to see the video with any cables. It produces its own Wi-Fi signal, so that once you download the app to your device, you turn this unit on at home, it produces the Wi-Fi signal, you connect wirelessly to it, and then it gives you full access to the content that's on the GoChip. Right now, the GoChips that we have either have a complete season of a television show on them, or if there are movies, they are a genre that has 5 different films from that genre. So you can access 5 different comedies or 5 different movies about zombies, whatever we happen to have in the collection. So we've got 40 of them right now in our collection. And once these are hooked up and you access them at home, you can have 8 different people sign on wirelessly to these, and they will have their own individual control of whatever content is on that device. So that's a really neat thing that has become pretty popular too. Well, let's move on to some of the other things that the library has. In the Science and History Department, there is a 3D printer. It is available for the public. There's lots of neat things besides guns that can be made on a 3D printer. So these are a few of the different items that were created on a 3D printer. The great thing is that if somebody wants to try something out, that the library has these things available for people to come and do the trial and error here with help from people that have already used these items. So nobody needs to be afraid to try some of these new items. There's always somebody in the library to help you walk through the new technology. One of the other things that we have available is a Glowforge 3D laser printer. This is not available to the public right now. We're not 100% sure when and how we will make this available, but it's different than a regular 3D printer because this uses laser cutting and engraving technology. So it'll shape wood, and leather, and metal, and lots of other things. It is so precise that you can even engrave an image onto the back of an iPhone. That's an actual engraving. You put the iPhone right in the Glowforge printer, and the laser engraver does that. Doesn't do any damage to the iPhone. The Teen Center upstairs in the second floor, and Imagine You has a lot of really sophisticated technology up there. They currently have a full Apple suite, which has 6 iMac computers and I think 4 notebook computers with laptops that all have complete editing software and Photoshop and photo suites. They have 4K cameras, lighting kits, green screens, a room to do the video shoot, and basically all of the equipment and software and computers you would need from start to finish of any video project, so that you could make your own commercial or PSA or video about making a video. They also have a full music studio with much the same, all of the equipment necessary to record and cut your own digital album. This was a picture that I took just the other day of a young man and the instructor learning how to do digital music and create his own album. The other picture next to it is the Oculus virtual reality game, which is very popular. They also have drawing tablets so that people can use drawing tablets. In the near future, they're going to add a couple more gaming computers, which will have high-speed computers and high-speed monitors to be able to handle the newer, more sophisticated graphics. And if I remember correctly, they said there was also going to be a camera attached to that, so you could record yourself playing the game. Not exactly sure how that would work, but they're always stretching the credulity. Technology Center, which is up and coming, that's going to be down in the lower link, is on its way with a lot of new things that are planned for that area. Some of these are not facts because things are still in the process of being decided, but tentatively they've planned for having at least 25 new PCs available in the tech center for internet and word processing, similar to what you see out here in the fishbowl, but obviously with all brand new equipment. They'll also have 5 Apple workstations there that will also have the full Adobe Creative Cloud available on it. Then the Creative Cloud is a really nice set of software. Not only is it really good software and thing that's being used by professionals, but it's really easy to use because it has its own templates that are very easy to start if you have never done it before, and has lots of built-in tutorials. So whether you're a beginner or you're a pro, you'll be able to use this new Adobe Creative Cloud down in our tech center and make some interesting things. The Technology Center's supposed to have seating for general computer use, as well as classroom and small meeting rooms. Now, these aren't obviously actual things. These are just other technology centers that have had similar plans, and this is what they came up with. Some of the rooms will have PCs and monitors in them, and there's also a plan to have Skyping or some kind of video conferencing available through them, so long distance meetings can take place through here also. They're going to have automated checkout kiosk so that a patron will be able to take a laptop out from the Technology Center and use it any place in the library, so that they do not have to be in the tech center or that environment if they'd rather be alone in a soft chair someplace working away on their own. When they're done with it and they return it to that kiosk, it'll automatically wipe everything clean that that patron had done and recharge it, so that the next patron that takes it out will get a pristine laptop ready for them to use. The item next to that is a large format printer, so people will actually be able to print out large signs for businesses or for birthdays or whatever reason that they may have that they want something larger than an 8.5 by 11 color sheet. And while you can't really future-proof any room, the idea with the tech center is there's going to be a raised floor throughout that whole area for all of the cabling to be done, so that somewheres down the road it would be a lot easier to rewire anything for any new technology that comes about. When we did the Reynolds Media Center and we had a few rewiring that needed to be done there, before we moved in there, they didn't plan anything like this raised floor, and they literally had to come in with jackhammers and cut into the concrete in order to run some of the wiring for us. So this is going to eliminate a lot of that and make the room a lot more usable for future technologies. I did bring a couple design renderings. This is actually looking into the tech center. You can see the large-scale printer off here to the left. And this would be the reference or the service desk where the tech center staff would be if needed help. And this is all of the general seating for the computer use here. So this is actually looking into right now what used to be the teen center down in the lower level and is now being used for the cash tax area. So that's looking into that area where there is a wall now with the glass in the upper half, but that'll all be gone away. And then if you step into that area and turn around and look this way, that is what you would be seeing. There again is the help desk and a large format printer there. But here you can see the idea of a couple classrooms and meeting rooms that they would have there available to everybody. The tentative timeline for the tech center, the bids for the construction are supposed to go out in April, with construction starting sometime in July, and he says with fingers crossed, remember, don't quote me, the tech center opening hopefully in late September or October. So it's coming quick. It's coming quick. That gives you a pretty quick view of where we've been and where we're headed. There is one other fun tech thing that I think I should mention. I don't know how many of you people have read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the Babelfish that was available in that to translate everything that was happening. Anybody read that? No? Okay. Well, the good news is, just like the Babelfish and the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, there is a new technology that is coming out now that will be an earbud that you can wear that will connect to your iPhone or your smartphone that will translate language in real time. So with this, you'd be able to have your phone out and available, and someone can be speaking Mandarin Chinese to you, and the earbud will translate it immediately to English in your ear. So some of the text from science fiction is coming to pass, although we shouldn't be surprised because, after all, we did get cell phones from the communicators that Star Trek used, and Apple Watches. Everybody knows where Apple Watches came from, right? Dick Tracy, that's right. So our science fiction is definitely giving us a good idea as to what is coming down the pike. So at that point, I will just say thank you, and if you do have any other questions, I'll be more than happy to stick around and try to answer them, but no guarantees. All right, thank you very much.